got Penny, I've got Lucas, and I've got Tomas. Yes, so
Mm-hmm.
I've got those are the characters.
Yep.
All right. So, anything that we need to discuss or anything before we jump in?
Mm, I ain't
Not
got
on my
nothing.
end, I don't think. Yeah.
All right. Mike, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Cool. 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 All right, everybody's
The only
going.
question I had is about the cybernetics. Do we have those already?
Oh yeah, yeah. You guys all have your cybernetics. Like
Uh,
that's all. That's all in you.
Okay.
Like everything on your character sheet, you have. Um, uh, Anything that would reasonably be on like a fire truck, in this military type of situation that you guys are in, would feasibly be on there. Like you probably don't walk around sporting your energy weapons, but those are definitely stashed on the truck because you never know when you're gonna come across some kind of terrorist cell or some other BS that the fascistic Nemans decided you need to carry those weapons for. Um, so last time we left off, just a super quick recap. We started off, it was just a normal average every day. We kind of got a quick look at the life of Kenny, and Lucas and Tomas, just kind of their daily grind. Then there was a mass casualty situation at the Canine Behavioral Institute. You all went in to investigate. Looks like some plasma explosives had gone off. Quick correction, the degree Fahrenheit that I quoted, I really should have kept to my original statement. It was a Celsius temperature. It was about 600 degrees Celsius. So pretty hot enough to essentially melt steel on contact. Um, there was that mass casualty situation. There was a lot of dismembered corpses and stuff like that. Found out about the dog boy research that was going on down there. You ran into an internal special intelligence agent. Um, I think is what I called that institute. That institution. So anyway, you ran into that guy. Went back to the firehouse, got cleaned up, went over to the retirement party of Captain Min. Um, met had a little flash of insight of some craziness that may or may not be occurring. It was just some weird stuff that Lucas had been dealing with. Um, you all were in at the party, the latter pub, um, and there was a character by the name of Shadow Master, I believe, who came in and informed Lucas that there were, cutting into his meccan on some delicate bird there. Indicated that hey, there was reason to believe that the dog boy people had actually escaped from there, and there was like 20 of them or something that had gotten loose or some jazz like that. And um, shortly after that, there was uh, there was on a live broadcast that came up as you all were flipping through to kind of get a good look of the planetary alignment. There was a nuclear exchange that occurred down South America way, and mere moments later, all hell essentially began to break loose. Everyone in the building was bathed in that blue light. There was that kind of psychic scream that went through, and everybody just kind of was floored, dropped to their knees, clutching, screaming, panicking. There was just everything was everything was just gone has just gone ballistic. There were explosions and um, just whatever possibly could be going on right now is essentially what's going on, and that's kind of where we left off. And so we'll jump right back into it, dealing with the aftershock of that psychic penetration that everyone took. And as you kind of get your bearings back, and you see, the whole world bathed in this blue glow, that it seems like it's never ending. Immediately, the windows, because it's the facade of this place is just all glass walls and everything. They just shatter, sending shards of glass flying through. You three, escape essentially uninjured. Maybe a little cut a nick here, but nothing serious. Um, a few other people in the pub are not quite so lucky. Of course, these are comrades or family of comrades of yours. With some pretty significant injuries that come through. One guy is just impaled thoroughly with a giant shard of glass. And then once that glass shatters, that's when you really start to hear what's going on. There's a hellacious wind that's blowing, just louder than five tornadoes. It's just insanity. There's the smell of ozone permeates the air. You hear those rumbling explosions just as uh, just as the manhole cover right outside of the building erupts into the air, and the flames that are spewing out of the ground. The flames are bathed in that mysterious weird glow, which kind of gives them almost a purple tint. It's very, very impressive, and it would just be an awesome sight if it weren't for the fact that something has gone devastatingly wrong, and everyone feels it in their bones. Um, you hear sirens going off, car alarms, things like that. Um, it, there was complete silence, just for a moment, when all of the electronics shut down. Everything is powered back on. All the electronics in the building have powered back on, and there's just this massive blaring, of static coming through, just coming from the television and the speaker system within the pub. Um, it's just brutal, and just at that moment, you start to hear the telltale clacking sound of massive hailstones beginning to pelt the building, and you see them dropping outside and just breaking, hail the size of softballs just coming down. Pow, 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 pow. A vehicle that was parked outside, an old school pickup truck, is lifted from the ground and just thrown by a force that you would have to assume at this point is wind, and it just tumbles down the road. The glass is starting to swirl inside the building, and it's just complete and total chaos within. What are y'all's actions and thoughts here?
Well, if people are going to be injured in the building and that we know them, I'm going to try and treat their wounds.
All right, you get up from your kneeling position to kind of crawl over to one of the people the nearest to you, so you can start to kind of treat the injuries. And just as you begin to move, you see that one of your other comrades had a very similar idea, and they abandoned their position behind the table that they've from underneath the table, and immediately they start to get sliced up with the glass that's flying through the building. So you can continue on this course of action, but no, there will be some pain involved.
I think my
Yeah.
first reaction is going to be to scream, "Get your gear! We need to get in gear."
All right. So,
Did we?
Tomas, you're still going to try to render aid?
What was our gear outside? I thought we were in our gear.
No, you're not in your gear now. You are at a celebration. You are all in your civilian gear. Your gear
Okay.
is literally across the street at the firehouse. And just when Kenny issues that order, you start to feel a shaking in the ground, and like of the building that you're in, chunks of the ceiling begin to fall. Um, looking around, you see that the other buildings around you are starting to, they're having that same type of effect. The windows just shatter out of the buildings that still have glass in them, though most of them have been broken. The firehouse is made of heavy duty mega damage material, but it doesn't necessarily mean that um, the ground on which it is built is that same type of material. And if you would like to get your gear, of course, you would have to make your way back over to the fire station, which is, like I said, essentially across the street.
Right.
I think getting who we can over, like, we got to get our gear. But if the fire station looks like it's holding up and it's sturdy, at least right at the moment, right? Like a bad plan now is better than the best plan 3 days from now. Shouting out, hey, everybody into the fire station. If it doesn't look that way, I still want to get my gear. If somebody isn't coming, I want to grab their bag as well on the way out.
Yeah,
I'm right behind you.
I'm at the point where I was like, I need the gear. I understand that, but if these people are in peril, I'm gonna see if I can reach them without, as safe as I can get, so I don't get too injured, but get them to a safer position so they don't die.
Yeah, understood. So, Tomas, um, you reach out, kind of run out from your current position, um, and you grab up one of the people that seems to be a bit injured, that's kind of just like out in the open. In so doing, you're pelted with glass shards. It's not the world's worst injuries, but you do sustain some SDC damage. Go ahead and mark 6 SDC off. Um, you're able to make it though. You pull them back over, get them kind of tucked behind one of the tables that was blown over when the wind came through, and kind of just around that time, the wind just it growls out and it just ceases. But you hear it still. It's like you almost hear like there's another gust of this wind coming, and as you're starting to deal with this new lack of wind, you hear this massive peal of thunder come through, and lightning streaks down from the sky, boom, like right outside the building. It impacts the road, and what you see is not a normal type of lightning strike. There's a giant crater where that lightning has hit, and it was just intense. Thunder shakes the building just as much as the earthquake that you're going through. It's a bad situation all around. But you all are trained to deal with this kind of thing, and you hastily look around. You see that the other first responders that are there, they had very similar thoughts to what Tomas had. They've already started to secure other people. Um, Unfortunately, it looks like Captain Min has taken a very large shard of glass to her abdomen, and there are three of the other Roscoes that are there, and they're doing everything they can to staunch the bleeding. You hear people screaming and yelling. And as Kenny is telling everybody, "Hey, we got to get to our gear." There's a group of other Roscoes that kind of get around you, and they're like, "Okay, we got it. We can do this. We got to get over to the fire station. Let's go before this next round of wind hits."
Yeah. Take off towards the fire station.
Everybody of the same mind.
Yes.
Is anyone
All right.
else going to grab the person that I saved, or do I got to help them over to the fire station?
I figured if you were working on them, you were going to
Um.
bring them with you.
Yeah.
That would be the idea. I was like, if one of the other Roscoes was going to help and grab, then I could just get over there and grab my gear. But whatever. If they're not doing that, then I'll help the person I saved, over to the
All
fire
right.
department, the fire station.
Yeah. You can snatch them up and attempt to bring them with you. That's probably a good idea. Everybody's dealing with their own shit right now. So some people are treating others Others are just kind of sitting scared. There's a couple of them that are ready to roll, get across the street with their own patients, as it were, trying to save as many lives as they can. But as you, like I said, the glass dies down, the flying glass dies down a bit, and you all get up to start heading out, and the wind begins to rush through again, almost like something is telling you, stop, don't go, but not in so many words, and you wouldn't listen to that anyway, because running into danger is what you do for a living. And the thunder is just going absolutely crazy overhead. The rain begins to come down, intermixed with this hail, and the lightning strikes are just all over the street. Who's going to be the first one to try to rush out there?
I'll do it.
Have we been armored up yet? Have we made it to the firehouse?
No, you're still in the ladder pub.
Okay. I wasn't sure if we had made it and we were arming up yet, and then you were asking who's coming up first, but
I'll take the charge. I mean, I'm good with that.
All right, Kenny. As soon as you break the cover of the building, you realize exactly how powerful this wind is. I mean, you're talking hurricane force winds coming through here. I'm going to need you to make a roll on a d20 to maintain your balance. If you don't have the maintain balance skill, you're looking at 18, 19, or 20.
It doesn't matter what I got.
It doesn't matter what you got. So the wind just kicks and you drop immediately to your knees, trying to not get blown down the street. Um, who else is rushing out at the moment?
Opposition in person I saved against one of the vehicles for protection against the wind, and I'll try to head across to the fire station.
All right, same deal. That wind, man. All right, you're able to push through a bit. The wind is really pushing super hard. I mean, you're able to make maybe 15 feet out into the street, just by sheer force of will and the strength that your Roscoe training has brought to bear. You're able to make it a little bit into the street. You probably still have another 4 or 5 runs like you just did to get there, but you're pushing through it. Copperpot, what is Lucas doing?
well, Lucas has seen his first the lieutenant go down. Tomas has run out. He's got to charge. He's got to run out headstrong into the danger with his comrades.
All right, go ahead
Right.
and make your stay upright roll.
Oh, look at that! I do.
All right, you rush out. You kind of pass by the lieutenant, or you pass by Kenny, who is the lieutenant. Sorry, you pass by the lieutenant, and you're relatively close to where Tomas is. And just at that moment, another peal of lightning strikes down. It's not far from you. There was another Roscoe who had run out of the building, trying to make his way over. There's probably about 8 of you at this point trying to make your way across. The rest of them have stayed back to treat the wounded and things like that, or maybe they're just scared. But he's running like right alongside you, neck and neck, maybe like 10 feet away from you, and this peal of lightning comes down. Boom! You hear the thunder, and it just when the lightning strikes them, you see just for the briefest of moments, you see his skeleton appear, through his body before he's been completely and totally evaporated, just turned to ash, and he's gone out of there. Next up, we're going right back up to the top. So, Kenny, what are you doing?
I'm gonna try getting my feet and getting back into keep going to the firehouse.
All right, roll it.
All right. Another D20. Is that a yay or nay on the D20?
Yes, D20, please.
Okay. Hey, that's better.
Better, not good enough. As you go to stand up, the wind it whips you right out from whips your feet right out from underneath you, and you go tumbling down the street, maybe 15 feet or so, just rolling with it. You sustain 3 points of SDC damage from the tumble that you take. Now, Tomas and Lucas, you see the lieutenant take his tumble and just get kind of washed down the road. What are you guys doing?
Scream cannon!
He ran out in front of us, or
Well, he ran into the street first, but he was kind of blown down and like landed to his knees, and then he starts tumbling down the road. Not back towards the ladder, but just if let's say the ladder is on the south side of the street and the firehouse is on the north side of the street. He rolled down to the east.
Can I dash after him?
You can, yeah. Go ahead and make that roll to stay upright.
Not quite.
Not good enough. You take a few steps towards them, and the wind catches you, and it forces you down. You're kind of in a crawling position, but you don't go rolling down the street. It's just so powerful. Next up is Tomas.
do I get my bonuses from my PP?
No.
No. It's a 17.
No,
I would have a +1 to like dodge or whatever. That's all I was asking. I'll go
Yeah,
ahead
not,
and roll up. I'll try proceeding closer to the firehouse.
all right. Roll the dice. That's an 11. So you two are to your knocked to your knees as the wind takes effect, and another bolt of lightning peels down. Not on you, not on one of the other Roscoe's, but it's in your path to the fire station. There's a big ass crater that appears directly in front of the road from where the superheated lightning comes down and just obliterates whatever is in front of it. You haven't seen this kind of damage done without man-made technologies. This is just bonkers. And just as suddenly as it kicked in, the wind begins to die down. As the wind dies down, it's followed immediately by more of those massive hailstones that come pelting down out of the sky. Now, this is just going to be a real quick. I'm going to roll 3 dice. The first roll is going to go towards Kenny. If you get a 1, it's a D4. If you get a 1, you're going to take damage, and that's just how it's going to be. So first for Kenny. From hail pelts, you're fine. Second is going to be to Tomas. And third is going to be, come on, roll that dice. All right, so Tomas, you're going to take a little bit of damage from the hail. And the third one is going to be for Lucas. Boom. Maybe I'm trying to roll too fast. All right. The two of you are fine. Tomas, you're going to sustain a bit of damage as this hail begins to fall from the sky. Take 6 points of SDC and lose 1 melee action. So you're already 2 down. So now you're down to whatever you have, probably 1. I don't know. Now, the other two, with the wind dying down, you're able to clamber up to your feet. It is going to take one of your actions for this melee. So now we are down to what? 3 actions have been used for each person, including this one. So I believe everybody has 1 more to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So back to the top. Kenny, you clamber to your feet, kind of dazed a little bit, but you're able to kind of shake it off, and start your trek back to the firehouse, right?
Okay.
All right. What's your speed, by the way?
My speed is whopping 26. I can run
26.
520 yards in 1 minute.
All right, so that's pretty fast. You easily make your way to the edge of or to the other side of the street, along with, I'm assuming, Lucas, you're doing the same thing.
Yes.
All right, so yeah, you make your way over. Now, uh, Tomas, you're kind of dazed, but you're able to shake it off pretty quickly. And just as you all begin to reach the what you would call the threshold to the other side of the street, this kind of strange feeling begins to overtake you all. I want everybody to know that for right now, you feel fantastic. It's almost like you've taken the best batch of mushrooms you ever had in your life. It's the world is just right. There's kind of like the smell of baked cookies in the air. And as you're starting to feel these things, you notice that this blue line that you're on, there's kind of like this like shimmering purple hue to it, and it's it's just fantastic. Um, Everybody's save versus magic. Difficulty is gonna be 15.
Woohoo! That's an 18 for me.
All right. If you failed, you are completely reduced to 25% of everything. So if your speed is normally 10, your speed is now 2.5. Um, your attacks per melee are reduced to 1, and you can take no aggressive actions for the moment. Now, that leaves just the one of you who was able to kind of fake it off, and you start to feel like, man, I was in like a stupor for just the briefest of moments. And looking around, Kenny, you see your two engine mates are they look like they've taken a double dose of mushrooms, and they're just now starting to peak, right? And it's not just them; it's almost every single Roscoe that made their way out. There may be two of them, maybe three, that are looking around like, "Whoa, what's going on?" They're kind of shaking off the effect of whatever just occurred. But there's two or three of them that are that are ready to roll, but the rest of them are just like dazed, and they're standing here. And just as you're kind of surveying the scene with these hailstones flying down, one of the Roscoes, who's just looking at the sky, boom, catches a hailstone to the face and just shatters his skull. Brains splatter on the road as his head just erupts from this massive hailstone that hits him. The lightning is still cracking down, and you hear that telltale sign of just that rushing wind start to come in. And down the road you see uh, what could only be described as a tractor trailer starting to barrel down the street, end over end over end over end, coming your way at maybe 100 miles per hour.
Mm,
Is there anything around us that I can jump for cover behind?
Oh yeah, man, for sure. There's like some things that are like floating in the sky. They're pretty cool. They're really pretty. Um, oh gosh, it's whew,
Far out, man. Far.
everything is far out and trippy, brah. It's just so good. It's so good. Actually, there is something. It's like this big thing coming down the road at you, and it's like whoa, you could totally hide behind that and catch some cover. But man, it's getting bigger.
Think I'm gonna hide underneath of it and let it bounce over top of me, man. That's what I think I'm gonna do.
Um,
I'm just gonna lay
there we
down
go.
right here in the street and it'll just bounce right over me.
All right, and Kenny, you see Lucas do this. He kind of gets down and he just kind of lays there, just kind of like melts into the pavement, lightning just smashing down, ripping 10 foot by 10 foot chunks of asphalt out and just evaporating it. And he's just laying in the middle of this, the hail coming down, the lightning, tractor trailer end over end barreling down the street towards you all. Tomas?
I'm gonna try to keep on heading for the firehouse.
All right, yeah, you take a few steps, knowing that you're going in the right direction, um, and just exactly how things should be going. You're going with the flow because you know the flow is taking you to the firehouse. Kenny, you see him. He just kind of stumbles, drunkenly nearly, out into the street just a little bit further than what he was just a second before.
Is he within easy, like I can go help him range?
Both of them, yeah, you can help both of them. They're within, you know, five, 10 feet of you. I mean,
All right,
you're very fat.
fast. Yeah, I'll grab them and pull them in.
All right, yeah, you reach out, you grab uh who are you grabbing first?
Who's closer to me?
I'm gonna say Tomas.
I'll grab him first.
All right, you reach out, you grab Tomas, pull him forward. Just at that second, another lightning bolt comes streaking down. Ow! But you pull him over, and he kind of like slides against the sidewalk. Um, you know, rolls over a little bit, and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on, man?" Um, but you get him out of the street, and you see kind of realization start to sink in, that, hey, um, something wasn't right with me just a second ago. Tomas, you're no longer being affected by the euphoria. However, your one action for this melee has been used, um, to stumble around. All right, you're the only one with actions at this point, Kenny.
I'm gonna grab the other guy. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with
All
names.
right,
I already
you
forgot his
rush
name.
over to
Lucas.
Lucas.
grab him. A streak of lightning comes down. Boom! Like maybe 30 feet from where Lucas is, it fries another Roscoe. Another one comes down. Pow! Maybe a little bit closer this time. You feel the hairs on your arms stand up as as the electricity just flows through the air. Pow! Right where Tomas was just standing. Just fries his location. It seems like it's almost like this lightning is maliciously guided. The people that are in the street, they're getting nailed. You didn't notice it before due to everything else that was going on, but they're just getting hit and hit and hit. At this point, there's the three of you who have made it across, and maybe a couple of others, and they're seeking shelter as best as they can, beside buildings or what have you. Um, and the final, right before you reach the firehouse, boom! Another strike of lightning hits, and it hits directly in the front of the fire station. It catches the front of it and just rips this big ass chunk of masonry down, and it lands in front of the door. Not so much that it's going to stop you from entering, but it's definitely something that you'll have to clamber over to get inside or get out of the way. But moving it out of the way is probably a proposition that's best utilized or best approached when you're in full power armor.
Yeah.
Um, and the street begins to shake again with another earthquake, and sure enough, the ground underneath the fire station begins to buckle and give. Massive fissures occur and just rip through the streets. The building next to you collapses. As that building collapses, it hits some kind of a gas main or something, and it erupts into flames with a loud bang. It catches fire to the buildings surrounding it. The fire station itself begins to burn on the eastern quadrant, um, but it's still intact. It's just kind of the leaning fire station of Marion at this point.
Well, if we're inside, get your gear on now. Grab your packs.
All right. Well, the other two have just shaken off their euphoria as you're trying to. How are you trying to access the building? Are you trying to climb over the?
Yeah, I'm climbing over it. I'm not going to try and move it. I'm going to just scurry over the top of it as quickly as I can.
All right. You have the spelunking skill, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, go ahead and throw the dice for that.
Come on. Yes, I make it.
You're able to clamber over and under the chunks of masonry that have fallen. It's just like going into a burning building, man. And you make it over. The doorway, the front entrance to the fire station, is completely shut off to the rest of the world. In order to gain entrance to it, you have to scan your IC, your identification coding. You have to scan that chip that's implanted in every member of NEMA. And it looks like the scanner, the code scanner is still active. Are you scanning?
Yeah, I'm scanning.
All right, you scan yourself in. The door begins to rise, and it stops about 3 feet off the ground. So that stoop and crawl to get through.
Looks like we're crawling.
All right, so you get into it. The other two, what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna follow him.
Yeah,
All right,
once we
spelunking.
cleared our bearings, we'd be following right behind him.
All right, spelunking and spelunking.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
All right. So Lucas, you're able to follow Kenny relatively simply. You just follow his direct path. Tomas, you're still shaking off the effects of the euphoria, and you stumble a bit. And as you stumble, you start to feel the gusting of the wind come at you. Go ahead and make that roll to stay upright.
D20.
D20. No dice. All right, so you go to start climbing the masonry and crawl under the pieces. The wind begins to whip through. It knocks you down. You kind of roll over into a little crevasse. Fortunately, you hit just in the right spot because as you hit, that tractor trailer comes through and it end over end, bam, 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 hits right outside the fire station. It crushes right where you were just about to put your foot. But fortunately, you slipped and kind of got out of the way. The wind is pinning you against this masonry, but you're able to struggle and power through. Go ahead, and it's going to cost you an extra couple of melee actions here. But if you would like, instead of rolling again, you can just say, "Hey, man, I made it through."
Yeah, I made it through.
All right, yeah. So you make it through. Kind of dazzled and dazed a little bit, a little sore, but you make it through just in time as that tractor trailer, like I said, just crashes through. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Frank, who's one of the other Roscoes that's in the station with you. He's not so lucky, right? He just gets picked up by the wind as the tractor trailer is going, and he's thrown somewhere else into the sky, just illuminated in this blue streak, and almost as if to signify that yes, the lightning is guided, he's in midair, struck and evaporated, and Frank is no more. Um, Unfortunately, in this scene that you've witnessed, the person that you had kind of tucked behind a vehicle, that vehicle is no longer on the street, and you do not see that person. Um, Everybody, you all kind of have this feeling. It's like an icky sort of disgust, right? That kind of like builds up in you, almost like there's something coming that it just hasn't been seen yet, and it's just not a pleasant thing. Um, and over the wind, over this horrible screeching sound, you hear this screaming from the ladder pub as you all make your way in. Peering through the bottom of the fire station, you see that something is causing folks to rush out of the building into the chaos of the streets. What do you all choose to do? Do you continue with the mission and get your stuff, or do you sit back to watch and see what's happening?
I need to get my stuff.
Yeah, I'm really needing to get stuff. Like, I need my gear.
I think the safest bet is they get my gear so then I can help these people.
We can grab
You're
your
going to
gear.
rely on them to get your gear.
I'll grab your gear, Tomas.
Okay. And then I'll chill here and try and stay and get protected from the wind, but I can take a look and see what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it doesn't take very long for you to discern what's happening. These people are coming out, and they're just shrieking and screaming. Meanwhile, in the fire station, um, Lucas and Kenny, right? So the building is kind of at like a 15-degree angle from where it should be. Everything's just kind of a little bit askew, just because of the fact that it's the foundation of the building is changing, it's shifting, it's the earth is quaking beneath you. Um, the Where your equipment is stored, it's a sub level, right? So you have to go down, and when you go down there, there is a ramp which the hover trucks use to get out. But that's where all of the off-duty gear is stored. It's stored below. Um, you kind of push through some of the fallen debris inside the building, and there is a lot of down debris. But there's a broadcast on the television that seems to be local, right? At least it's a Virginia-based broadcast, and one of the receptionists that's usually like right there, kind of standing quarter deck watch. You see that he's been crushed to death by a chunk of mega damage concrete that's fallen from the ceiling. What's your course of action?
Does he have like an access badge or something that he no longer needs?
I mean,
Or
any
anything,
access
you know what I mean?
badge,
Like anything like that? Like anything on him that we would need?
anything on him that he would have, you would also have through your
All right.
IC chip.
Yeah.
The only thing that the quarter deck watch maintains that nobody else really carries around in the fire station is they have a low grade energy weapon that they keep with them, like a laser pistol or something.
Right. Is there like any extra like? I'm more focused on being able to keep people alive and shit like that right now. Probably like portable hand O2 canisters or something like that that I could just grab a couple of and
Oh,
continue about.
Oh yeah, for
I'll be
sure.
right
There's
back.
those. Yep. There's those. There's defibrillators. There's all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd be more focused on grabbing like safety and health before a pea shooter energy weapon.
Right.
They shoot fucking lightning.
All right. So you're able to you're able to snatch two O2 canisters, and a handful of medical supplies, whatever you may need for paramedic skills and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, now, Kenny, what are you doing here?
I'm gonna get suited up as quickly as I can. Grab grab my standard loadout, and I want to get back up and start looking out and seeing what's going on the roads. Maybe consider
So you're
moving an
heading.
engine out, like one of the fire engines out, or rolling one of the ambos if I can, or if it even makes sense to. But I'm going to try and get a
Right.
general sense of the situation.
So you're gonna head down to the sub level where you can get your gear first.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you make your way down, and of course it's a rocky path. With the building shaking and the stairwells being what they are, there's no way that you're going to try to take the elevator. It's obviously probably the shaft is probably bent, right? Um, but you begin to make your way down, and of course the claxons in the building are going off. You hear the automated reports are coming through. There's buildings that are burning. There's rescue that needs being done here at this street or that street or the other street or what have you. It's just it's loud, it's confusing, but you're trained for these kind of things. You make your way down into the sub level, and there before you, you see, there's your engine right there, which you all signed up and is still nice and pretty from earlier today, loaded down with all the gear. Your locker is right there on the right hand side. You rush over to your locker. You have your full your standard NEMA personal body armor, right? And you also have that EX power armor suit that's in there. Um, so you think for a second about which one of those you're going to grab. Tomas, are you back yet? Tomas? All right, I'm going to take that as he's not back
Yeah.
just yet. Now, Lucas, as you're gathering equipment on the first floor of the building, you can't help but overhear the news broadcast, and the presenter is the anchor is obviously just rattling things off. They're panicked, but they've gone into just I'm going to read what's on the teleprompter type of mode. Um, and you hear New York City, Washington D.C., Boston, Baltimore, Savannah, Miami, the entire Eastern Seaboard is gone. It's gone. Tens of millions of lives projected to have been lost. Um, the oceans have swelled, swallow coastal areas all around. Oh my God, I can't. I don't understand what's happening here. What is and then like just at that moment, like it kind of cuts, the broadcast cuts as the anchor starts to break down into tears. But at the quarterdeck station, the radio begins to chirp, and you hear like piping in. this is NEMA General Command. NEMA General Command, come in. All NEMA responders, come in. This is a Class A emergency situation. Class A emergency situation. It seems that the entire eastern and western seaboards have been completely flooded. Tidal waves the size of the Empire State Building have erupted and have wiped out both seaboards. Casualties are uncountable at this point. Repeat, casualties are uncountable at this point. Request all NEMA personnel to evacuate to safe areas. Do not attempt rescue at this point. Evacuate. Please evacuate. And then it shuts down. And as that broadcast kind of shuts down, you feel the building begin to lurch, and like the street underneath you is just turning. Um, Things begin to collapse and fall all around you. Now, Kenny Tomas, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, excellent. So all of this is happening. You don't really hear what the other two are going through because you're more focused on what's happening on the outside, which is probably good that there was some eyes out there because through the havoc, through the lightning, through the hail, through the vehicles parading through the streets, through the people being evaporated, you see inside the building and actually just beyond the building, there's this like it's hard to describe in terms that most people would understand, but it's almost like a rounded diamond, right? And the center of this rounded diamond is just dark white, and it's all just like a vibrant blue on the outside, which is even more blue than the line that you're than the wall that you're standing in right now. Um, and it's just awe inspiring. It's at least judging heights in the sky is very difficult to do, but you would say maybe a mile high, and just as wide at its widest portion. But the folks who are running from the building, you see these things in there. They're kinda, you would maybe think that it's it's like like a swarm of hands, just hundreds of like these foot and a half, 2 foot tall hands that are crawling around. They have these long fingernails. The hands look bony and emaciated with these like sparkling eyes that just look to be darting everywhere. And as people are fleeing, you see the hands like leaping off the ground and slicing into them, taking chunks off of them, and then like skittering away into the darkness, completely oblivious to the hail and the lightning around them. These hands are just causing just horrific wounds to these people. Go ahead and make a save versus horror factor, Tomas. Difficulty is going to be 11. No, wait, 13.
I don't have any bonus. Okay. Four factor check. Woohoo. Oh.
So these hands, right? It's like nothing you've seen before. Maybe in old movies that depicted, the 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 demons of hell, right? It might look like they came off of one of them, but because these things have like what looks like cartilage and tendons and bones sticking out of where the wrist would be, but they're like scorpion tails almost, like injecting people with some kind of paralytic. Um, it's just mind blowing. You have no frame of reference for this, but as you see these things, you just get that sense of disgust that everybody felt earlier. It's so much more visceral and surreal because this is a reality bending situation. This doesn't exist, but here it is, and you see it, and it's murdering your friends. All right, back to Kenny. You're beginning to get suited up, right? You grab your stuff. It's going to take you probably. Which suit are you putting on?
I'm gonna put the powered exoskeleton on.
All right, it takes about a minute to fully get engaged in this thing. In the meantime, the building begins to kind of collapse around you. Everybody who is inside the building or directly by the building, which is all three of you, you're gonna need to start to start taking evasive action as the stuff begins to crumble on you. So first up, Kenny,
What do you want me to do?
you're safe at the moment.
Oh, okay.
You're safe at the moment. For the next 15 seconds, you're gonna be okay. You know, outside of game terms, this melee, you're fine. You require 1 minute to get this suit fully up and running. Um, but what's happening is chunks of debris are beginning to fall, kind of all through the building. Now, outside of the building, well, not outside, but in the area where Tomas is at, the chunks are falling. The building is starting to crumble, but Tomas, you are still fine. On this first floor, where Lucas is kind of lurking, once again, the building just starts to collapse and shake. You realize that, hey, there's not a lot of time for this building to stay upright. It's starting to come down. You came here to get your gear. Tomas is hanging out at the front door, paying attention to something else. And he is presumably downstairs. Lucas, you're right there between, essentially between the two of them. What is your course of action?
Yeah, we gotta get rolling. Get your ass in gear. We gotta load up the truck. We gotta get the hell on out of here. They're calling. What did you say it was?
Tomas,
No. Shit. DEFCON A or whatever.
emergency situation A or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
that'll work.
Emergency. That's what I'm screaming.
Say emergency.
Yeah, that's it. Class A emergency.
Yeah. And I guess I would run towards Kenny to help him finish loading up gear onto the truck.
All right. You make your way down the stairwell with the building shaking. You stumble a couple times on your way down. Kenny's already getting suited up. It doesn't look like he's loaded anything in the truck, but he's starting to suit up in his power armor, his exoskeleton suit. He's got his greaves on now. He's working on getting the rest of the suit attached to himself. You make your way over to your locker, because of course you've got a ton of stuff in your locker. You've got your body armor, you've got your power armor suit, you've got your weapons, you've got everything, unless you keep your weapons on the truck, which is totally understandable if you say you keep your weapons on the truck. Uh, what kind of armor are you trying to put on?
Oh, right now I'm probably just putting on like my standard issue kind of like my regular
All
name
right,
of body armor. You know what I mean? Like not my
all right, that's your power armor suit.
right.
All right, yeah. So you're going to be able to get that done after the next melee. You'll be good to go, barring any potential catastrophes. Tomas, what are you doing now? Hearing that Lucas is shouting out, "Hey, it's a Class A emergency."
Probably coming to terms about this fucking thing with all hands, like taking chunks out of people.
So you're still sitting there watching through the front door.
Yeah, horrified that this fucking thing is doing this to my friends, and there's nothing I can fucking do about it.
That's true. All right, we're going to go back to the top of the round, and here we go. Let's make some rolls. Kenny, Everything around you is starting to collapse. The locker next to you begins to rumble, and it just kind of like twists in on itself as the strain from the building shifting its state begins to causes it to just collapse. You're able to suit up a little bit more. You're about halfway suited. Lucas, in the same general area. The building, like I said, it's coming down. There's chunks and chunks and chunks. A piece of rebar comes flying down from above. You know the ceiling for the subfloor is about 20 feet up. But this chunk of rebar comes flying down, and it lands right next to your foot, and impales the floor right next to you. This stuff is coming down at speeds and force. It's unnatural. Gravity should not allow rebar to puncture Megacrete the way that this just did. And Tomas at the top, bad news, buddy. The entirety of the front of the building begins to fall, and you have one chance to get out of the way, or you are taking significant damage.
Okay.
All right, you're able to deftly leap. Do you go towards the street, or do you go back into the fire station?
Hmm. Back into the fire station.
All right, back into the fire station you go. As you leap back, the front of the building just crumbles in on itself, and about 10,000 pounds of concrete lands right where you just were. The building begins to rattle even more, and you start to see the cracks in the walls and just the crumbling of the infrastructure of the building itself. Um, you realize at this point that now is the time, if you're going to get out of stuff, or time to do so. Um, so I assume you're heading down that away.
Yeah, I'm gonna head to my locker and get my shit.
All right, you start to rush down the stairs. You'll be left on the stairs for just a second. Back to it. Kenny, you're putting on your gear. And as you're getting your gear on, you're about three-quarters of the way done. You look up and you see where above you there was once a ceiling, right? It's completely collapsed down. About 3 floors up through the building, there's just a massive hole, and you see a chunk of megacrete starting to fall down towards you. Are you gonna sit there and get crushed, or are you gonna try to get out of the way? Now, keep in mind you're only about three-quarters of the way suited, so there will be some impairment in getting out of the way if you try to do so.
Yeah. Do I have enough of my armor on that I could tank this?
Maybe.
Let's give that a shot. I'm going to trust the gear.
All right, trust in your gear. So just as this concrete slab is coming down, you collapse the face mask around you. Now, of course, you're not powered yet, but everything collapses around you. Your gear itself is going to take. Your gear takes 19 points of mega damage as the mega creep comes down at velocities really unheard of. Since you're not powered, you yourself take a substantial amount of SDC damage. You lose 16 SDC from just impact and not being powered with the exoskeleton
Yeah,
strength.
that's fine.
All right, and now up to Lucas. You are loading up. You're almost done getting suited. And once again, like I said, the like 3 stories up is coming down on you. Are you going to try to take the damage, or are you going to try to get out of the way?
Oh, I'm going to try to get out of the way.
All right, roll a d20. Your difficulty is going to be 12.
Meets it, beats it.
Bam, got it. You leap out of the way. You have your suit kind of in hand, but you leap out of the way just as another big chunk of block comes falling down and crushes, it shatters right where you just were. Um, Back over to Tomas. You're making your way down the stairs, and you see Kenny get crumbled underneath this massive chunk of stone, and you see Lucas leap deftly out of the way, kind of at the last minute to save himself from being crushed. The stairwell begins to collapse behind you as you're rushing down. You make it down into the bottom corridor or into the bottom kind of prep area. You make your way over to your locker. Inside your locker is your gear. Are you trying to put any of it on, or are you going to throw things in the truck and get dressed in the truck, or what are you doing?
If I can grab it and put it on in the truck.
All right, what are you grabbing first? Are you going to try to grab and drag your power armor, or are you just going to grab up your regular armor?
The power armor and the regular armor are in the locker?
Yes. These are like walk-in closets.
Gotcha. So then I'll try to suit up and then I'll put the power armor on.
All right. It'll take you 1 melee to get suited up. So we'll go ahead.
Mhm.
We'll go back to Kenny. Kenny, you are currently under about 500 pounds of concrete. Um, what are you doing? You're able to power your suit on. All of the checksums come online. Your heads up display is on, and it's saying uh, just giving you a brief overview of the situation, that you're being compressed, and you have approximately 650 pounds of material atop you. Oxygen for your suit is 100%. Things like that.
So like I am able to I was able to get the last bit of it on and get powered on.
Yes.
Okay. So that weight's not insubstantial, but I should be able to push my way out of it with this powered suit.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna push my way out, pull my gear bag out with me, and shout out where are we at with the situation?
All right. Yeah. So you muscle your way through. The pistons of the suit are whirring as you go in the gears. And you make your way through. You see Kenny is, or not Kenny, but Lucas is laying on the floor where he was just getting suited up. There's that big chunk of stone, but he's still trying to pull his body armor on. And you see Tomas over in his locker. He's starting to try to get his body armor or power armor, Tomas.
Uh, if I can grab the body armor after I put on the power suit, then I would put on the power suit first.
Okay, so he's trying to get suited up in his power armor suit. Now, knowing that it took you a full minute to get dressed in this, and this building is coming down. You have skills there that you can use to check structural stabilities, to see how much time you may have, but time is short. and you pop up shouting, hey, what's the situation? What else?
Who are you talking to? Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought that was you. That was you, Kenny.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Um. So wait, repeat that because I that long pause kind of threw me.
No, I got you. So you push your way through. You see where Lucas has dived out of the way. He's not crushed. But he's still trying to pull his suit on. You know that the building is not long for standing. I'm sure you have a skill where you could judge the structural integrity of something. Um, and you notice that Tomas is just starting to suit up in his power armor.
Okay. I'm gonna shout over to. I'm gonna run over to Tomas and I'm gonna help him get his power armor on, so we can get it done quicker. And I'm gonna say, shout out. We need to get what we can and get out of the building. It's coming down.
All right. And to that, Lucas, what do you reply?
I'm sorry. Can you just repeat what you said? My little girl is saying goodnight to me.
Oh,
No, I'm helping Tomas get his armor on, and I'm shouting out,
Right.
get what we need. We got to get out of this building.
Shit, we gotta hurry up. I think I got what we need. What we need is the three of us to get the hell on out of here. This building's coming down ASAP, brother. ASAP. And then, how close are we to the fire truck? Is that on this level with all of our gear?
oh yeah, yeah. Everything's down here.
Yeah, so I want to run over and kind of hop in the fire truck and start it up.
All right. Yeah, you run your way over there. Go ahead and make a pilot truck check. Oh wait, I don't need to roll two of those. I just need to roll one of those. Nope. And let's throw that thing away. I don't want to flash the chat log. How do I get rid of this?
I do not believe a 91 makes that. Nor does a 93.
You rolled a 19, not a 91.
Yeah, you rolled a 19.
Sorry,
So-
I don't know. I'm dyslexic. Sorry.
Yeah, you just looked at the numbers. You didn't bother seeing what it actually said. That's fine.
Exactly.
So yeah, you rush over, you jump in the truck, crank it up on the first go, and the engines kick in. Now Kenny and Tomas, you're in there. You're trying to get Tomas suited up. Now it's only going to take you 2 melee rounds now instead of a full minute. So you're cutting out 15 seconds of dress time. Unfortunately, just as you reach over to him, Kenny, you get the second the bottom half of his suit on, and as that bottom half of the suit is on, his locker begins to collapse around you. A huge like just compression of building begins to twist and churn the building around you. You are going to need to get out of that place right now, or else you might very well both be crushed underneath the building twisting on itself.
All right, can I grab the top and jump out of there?
Roll to strike. You're going to need a 10. Yep, you grab the top. All right. So you grab the top, you jump out of there. Annie, what are you doing?
Same thing. I'm gonna get on the truck, and shout, "Let's go!"
All right, roll to dodge as this building starts to come down around you.
Duh.
10.
Hey, roll please, and thank you. Hey, that's
good.
It's gonna do it.
Yep. So you jump out of the way. You both move quickly. Now, Tomas, you're only like half dressed, but the building is coming down. I'm assuming you're making your way to the truck.
Yep.
All right, both of you get over to the truck. It's already going. Lucas is, in the driver's seat. It's piled up with all of your gear that you had left in there. So, any neural maces or vibro sabers or auto mags or whatever. Any of your weapons that are on your character sheet are inside that. As a matter of fact, anything that's on your character sheet that you did not specifically grab is inside that truck, with the exception of your personal vehicles. Of course, they're elsewhere. Um, but you get in there, and I'm assuming that you're trying to get out of the building with the truck. Lucas has already made that roll. You go up the ramp. As the truck is going, are you keeping your sirens on or no?
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not?
All right, yeah. So the lights and sirens are blaring. The building just chunks and chunks of rubble begin to fall. Boom, 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 boom. The exit door slides open quickly, with in an efficient manner that Nima is known for, and your truck erupts out onto the street. Keep in mind you do hover, but you're only about 5 feet off the ground, so you are prone to even things like speed bumps, and make your vehicle shift a little bit. Um, but you get up, boom, and you're back out into the havoc. And the wind is kicking as hard as it ever was. Um, Make a quick piloting check to maintain control of the vehicle.
While he's driving out, can I put the rest of the suit back on?
Yeah, you're working on it. He's able to maintain control of the vehicle for just a moment. So yeah, you can get another piece of the suit on. And as you're pulling out, you see the ladder building or the ladder pub. And Kenny, are you looking out of the window, or are you like in the back of the truck? What are you doing?
I'm
I
looking
know
out.
Lucas is looking out the front.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking out the window so I can, get a read on the situation and call anything out that needs to be called.
All right, both of you make horror factor checks.
Horror factor. Do 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 do.
Me and Kenny or
No, I do
Lucas and
not.
Kenny?
Lucas and Kenny, you're in the back of the truck getting dressed, so you're actually not looking outside at this point.
Gotcha.
All right, Lucas, you are able to, whether it's just because you kind of glance over the situation, you're not paying enough attention to it, or maybe you're just that hardened to weird shit for some unknown reason. You're able to maintain your focus, which is for the best, as this lightning is starting to streak down even harder than it was before, and it seems like it's coming directly at the truck. But Kenny, you see those same like foot and a half long demon hands that are all through the ladder, and they're just eviscerating the people that you all left behind in there. Just they're absolutely tearing them to shreds, taking chunks of earlobes or whatever and running off into the night with them. There's one of the demon hands has its kind of thumb section in somebody's mouth, and two of the two middle fingers are stuck down its eye holes, and the other two fingers you see it just like kind of maliciously massaging its scalp, as like the eyes and the thing just look at you like, oh, well, this is something new, fun, and different that's driving down the street.
Doesn't help that I
And
got the sirens on.
well, I mean, maybe it does, maybe it keeps them away.
Possible.
Well, that ain't good. I'm gonna do my. I'm kind of like seize up and just kind of stammer and point and like try and shout something over to the comm, but it's all coming out unintelligible. Don't really know what I'm saying at this point.
All right, as you're kind of like zoned out to this thing, and Tomas, you're finishing getting your suit on. You all feel the truck just jolted, as a huge strike of lightning hits the front of the vehicle. It temporarily is blinding, but only very temporarily. In game terms, the vehicle takes 30 points of mega damage directly to the front, kind of obscuring the vision from the windshield a little bit. Lucas, shaken from this naturally, just because you've never really been struck by lightning in a vehicle before.
Right.
But you're able to maintain control due to your deft piloting ability, and quickly you're able to look around and you see uh, more of the city, right? So where you're at currently, you're still in this weird blue glow, and the wind is whipping and it's kind of making you fishtail all over the place. But you're maintaining control, and the hail is coming and debris is flying and people are you hear them on the outside screaming, and you see the eruptions from the street as gas mains break and vent out with fire. Buildings whole It looks like whole blocks are just burning. Everything is just absolutely wrong, and way, 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 way up in the sky, to your right is this 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 that diamond of energy with the white center, and it's just like pulsing, and with every shake of the earth, with every gust of wind, with every lightning strike, there's like a shimmer in it, and it's just like you see like a quick like flux into like what is this strange new place that you see through the other side of it, and then it just goes back to that white light, and then it flashes again, and you see things begin to fly out of it, and then another gust of wind or earthquake, and it flashes again to another place in time. Who knows what that is, but it's mystifying, not so horrific as it just is another part of the catastrophe that you're living through. What is the team's course of action? As everyone is suited up now and has shaken away the horror of the scene that they just saw.
I think first and foremost, I would pilot away from the coastline and get closer to, into the city, I guess, maybe, or somewhere to safety, not necessarily in the city, but at least out of the blue zone area. How about that for starters?
Is this a conversation you're starting?
Yeah.
Um, I would know where they wanted us to evacuate to. We would have a standard set of rally points, right?
Yes, absolutely. You do have one.
So when you bring that up, I'm gonna go through the rally points. Like which one of these is closest to us?
So
That's
in
where we're going.
in many different ways, the rally points are set up as in this situation you go here, in that situation you go there, in this situation you go here. Um, are you aware that it's a Class A emergency?
I
Yeah, I've
thought.
told everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought he called it out.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I didn't remember. So knowing that it's a Class A emergency, all local NEMA personnel are to report to the base station at Hungry Mother State Park.
Okay.
It's isolated enough that if there's like a nuclear attack on a city, it's not likely to be hit. It's isolated enough to where you can most likely move about without much restriction. It's depopulated to the point where if mega damage weaponry has to be used, there's no fear for massive civilian casualties, right? Not only that, but there's plenty of game and fresh water for extended situations.
Okay. So that's where I'm gonna say we need to get to. That's point one.
Okay. I'll make my way there.
We'll figure out what to do if we can't get there, but that should be our priority.
All right.
All right, and Tomas, do you have anything to add to this?
I don't think so.
All right.
Where are we
So
headed again?
you,
What was that?
gentlemen,
Where did you say we were going?
State Park.
Okay, yeah.
all right, and you all begin the trek. It's not that far actually. It's only about maybe 15 minutes from downtown Marion where you're at. So you cruise down the streets as ably as you can, avoiding this and that, wreckage and debris, and things of that nature. There are people that you see, screaming in the streets shortly before being blown off, by the winds or what have you. You're still in this blue area, and at that point, Tomas, it uh it dawns on you that the street that you're on right now, that's just completely and totally shrouded and wreathed in fire, like every building is burning. This is one of the this is there's an apartment complex here, and that's where about half of your family live, and it is in flames.
What are we gonna
I
do?
believe in my family. They are safe. They made it out.
All right, so I guess you all continue.
Yes.
All right, mission forward. So you cruise down the streets. You're able to make your way out of the city proper, and as you're starting to get to the outskirts of the city, there's this uh, there's this thing, and it's probably this. I don't know. It's definitely taller than the vehicle that you're in. It's round. It's bulbous. Its body is just bloated to unfathomable proportions. It has like these pinnacles and mouths coming out of its stomach, and it's just like dripping gore and ichor. It has two little spindly arms sticking out of where its nipples would be if it was a human, and its head is like this massive like antenna and mandibles and just all of the weird little insect legs that could possibly be sticking out of it, and it's just grotesque. Everybody who's looking out of the window make a save versus horror factor, difficulty of 17.
I think
Even the
after last,
driver.
was that even the
Do you want
driver?
the
Woohoo!
Nat 20.
Mossing's scared.
I was gonna say, since the last time, I think I've probably settled down into my seat, and I might be trying to find some emergency protocol documents or something that we might have somewhere. Anything to prep.
So you're not
for
really paying attention.
No, well, not to the outside. Now I'm kind of more focused on. All right, we have a Class A. I got to get all the information for that put together. What's in this? What's here that I need to go through, so when we get there, we're prepared.
Okay. And Lucas, you're the one that's looking out the window for sure, so you got to make that horror factor check. There it is. All right, so both of you succeed, um, and you begin to kind of cruise towards it. Now, whatever this thing is, it definitely it just radiates, for lack of a better word, it just radiates absolute evil. Lucas, you have, if I'm not mistaken, um, an ability that takes place in situations such as this, correct?
I do. I do.
All right. So you feel this just pull of like I said, it's just evil, and you feel like this swelling in your brain, like you're just gonna overload, and it's completely beyond anything you've felt before. Make a pilot check real quick just to make sure that you can maintain control of the vehicle.
Yes, I do.
All right, now the pain in your mind is just absolutely overwhelming, and now I want both um, Tomas and Kenny make a save for psychic attack.
Incoming. Hey, that's pretty good.
That'll do it. I don't think that does it.
I think I'm one shy.
I think you're one shy. All right. So let me roll this. All right. Take 8 hit points of damage as micro lesions appear on your brain and you begin to bleed out of your nose and your eyes and your ears. You feel like this just penetrating, just, just shockwave radiate throughout your entire body. Um, guys, um, Lucas, you take a similar amount of hit point damage. You take 8 points of hit point damage
Okay.
from the psychic backlash that occurs uh, through this encounter. Um, now, Kenny, you feel this reverberation through you, but maybe it's because you're zoned out, maybe it's because you're focused on something else. It just doesn't grasp you the same way, but you see both Tomas and Lucas. They like reach back and they just like they grab their faces and just like shout out in pain as something has occurred. I would say that you see the blood gushing from their faces, but they're wearing their gear, so you can't really see all that right now. Um, Things that you have learned up to this point. So an emergency class a class A emergency is something world ending essentially. We're talking nuclear strikes. We're talking um, you're in Indonesia and there's a massive tsunami that wipes out 200,000 people. These are class A emergencies. Um, Anything lower than that is, a magnitude 7 earthquake in LA, right? So it's bad, but nothing like a Class A. With Class A emergencies, all local personnel are to meet at the designated pickup points. All commanders, all command units are to dial into a specific radio frequency because in situations like this, it's projected that possible satellite communication could be lost. However, that link is still recommended. It's still recommended to attempt a satellite link up. Um, all personnel are authorized to utilize mega damage weaponry when encountering the enemy, quote unquote, because this was more for terrorist attacks or warfare than it was anything else. Martial law is to be implemented, curfews take place, pretty standard military lockdown procedures, but to like the nth degree.
Okay.
And so learning all of these things through your protocols and whatever, you do see Lucas, who's driving. He kind of shouts out. We could only be described as pain. And Tomas, he hits the deck in the back, and you see him grabbing. Both of them are like grabbing at their face masks.
Oh man, I'm gonna try and get their attention. Hey, what's going on? Are you guys all right? Hey, snap out of it.
You don't feel that?
Not
I
a
feel like
thing.
my head melting out of my skull. Am I able? Can I like take my helmet off while I'm driving?
Yeah, you can pop your helmet off.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that.
Yeah, you take your helmet off and you see blood like pouring out of his nose and leaking from his ears and seeping out of his eyes.
That's really not good. I don't know what to do here. This is all, yeah.
So surveying the scene around you, you kind of lock eyes. Well, your vision makes its way over to that thing. It's not coming towards you. It's actually going in an opposite direction. And you see it just reach over and it rips just a hole in one of the buildings that's right next to it. And it just tears it apart. And there's people inside and you see it reach down and just grabs them and starts to shove them in its gullet, just right in its stomach hole.
Yeah, I meant more like I have no idea what to do here because this is like, in character, like, but yeah, like no, we got to keep going. Like we can't stop. Like we have at this point we have to get to Hungry Mother State Park. Keep driving. Like that's what I'm telling people. Like keep going forward, don't stop.
Yeah, I'm not planning on stopping.
All right, make one more quick piloting check.
Nope, that's not me.
Oh,
Does it
nice.
again.
Man.
So your skill is really showing through. Your training is kicking in. You push through the pain, gun it, make your way out of the city limits, and you're on the highway now. You're cruising towards the state park. You break free of that that blue wall that's just like it looks like the entirety of the city is just completely covered in. But you see further ahead, it's a very you're kind of on like the top of a mountain, almost not really the top of a mountain, but very large hills. And you're kind of at the top. That's where the city is. And as you're kind of going down, you see in the distance, you see another line of blue energy that just goes from, as far as you can see on the horizon to the other side, just out of sight, completely and totally blue. And it looks like that you're heading kind of straight towards it. But as you approach the park and you get to the entrance, it's you know this kind of old wooden, it's made to look old timey and kind of cottagey is the best term for it. The snow is on the ground everywhere, um, and the skies out here they're clear, but they're only clear for a moment before there's this swirling mass of clouds and a thunderstorm kicks in above you. Rain begins to fall, but the rain as it hits your windshield, it's very clearly like a scarlet red color. As you kick your windshield wipers on, it just smears across the glass. But you make your way to the park. Um, you're you don't see any other vehicles here. It looks like you're the only ones. Um, and as you're kind of getting into a position where you can rest the vehicle, you see coming from the woods, because this is a whole giant wooded area. You see the best description would be dog people begin to come from the woods, and they're all wearing what look like half suits of Nema body armor, right? Little patched together pieces and parts, all stained in blood. They're carrying just kind of whatever weaponry that they could find, a tree branch, or maybe this one has a knife, or this one over here has a spiked gauntlet or something. Maybe one of them has a laser pistol in its hand. You see a couple of rifles, and they begin to emerge from the woods, and they see your vehicle. What are
Uh,
you all doing?
I'm gonna call out over the speakers like, hey, didn't we that's from the, oh god, what was that place called again? We were just there. It's been a week.
The Behavioral Research
Yeah,
Institute.
that.
That's all the
Canine
fucking.
Behavioral Research Institute.
That's it. Yeah,
That's
that's what was there, right?
That's what the Shadow Master was talking about. Look at all of those guys. Dogs. Walking with weapons.
Oh,
Wearing armor.
I don't think we want to draw their attention over here.
I don't. They can smell us, man.
Yeah, but if we don't
Yeah,
provoke them over,
they're coming towards the truck.
all right. No aggressive movements. Let's try and get this peacefully. They might be able to help us.
So what do you do as they approach?
I'm gonna call out to him. Hey, we're friendly. We're not gonna. Nobody's gonna try and hurt you. Are you okay?
Are you still in the truck calling out over the speakers?
Yep.
You see one of them. He looks like a cross between a human and a Rottweiler. He reaches down and he grabs the radio, and he kind of like points at it, and he puts it up to his mouth.
Okay. Give him access. If there's anything we
All
need
right.
to do on our side.
He begins to speak, and like as you're flipping through the channels to find his frequency, you see that he's actually on the NEMA emergency frequency, and he says, "Get out of the truck. I want to see what you are."
Screw it. I'm gonna get out. You guys stay in here. I'm gonna
All right, you
lift
step out of the
but before I get out, I'm gonna lift the visor on the armor so my face is out.
All right, you step out, and he looks at you and he talks through the radio. He says, "Human, okay, Roscoe, that's you.
I'm gonna nod and say yes. Name's Kenny.
You, Kenny, me, Kane. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Unfortunate circumstances.
Very bad. We warn, no one listen. We just dog."
Oh, hindsight's 20/20, but we should have listened.
Shoulda, didn't. How many you is?
There's 3 of us total with this truck.
Many more trucks coming.
Don't think so.
No more trucks coming. That bad news.
I can't say for sure, but I don't think so.
Many humans dead.
Yes, many.
Tell co-people, step out truck.
I'm gonna pop on the radio and just, hey guys, come on out. We're okay. This is good. It's all good. Just don't do anything dumb.
Yep. And I'll turn the power down the truck, and I guess I'll look at myself in the rear view mirror, or whatever passes for a rear view mirror, and look at the blood and shit on my face, and Hop on out.
All right, you hop out, Tomas.
Yeah, I get out.
All right, you step out as well, and as you two emerge from the vehicle and stand beside Kenny, um, you're standing kind of in the light of the fire truck, and the dog boys are totally illuminated, and there's probably about 20 of them. Some of them look like they've been through the ringer, right? I mean, just very, very significantly injured. Um, their gear, like I said, it's just a patchwork. Some of them have armor, some of them don't. Some of them have weapons, some of them don't. Everybody has at least a rock or a stick in their hands, and they've kind of created like a semicircle around you, with the truck behind you and a crescent of dog boys in front of you, and they begin to kind of stalk towards you a little bit, and Kane comes back over the radio, and all of your suits are kind of tied into it if you want them to be.
Sure.
But he comes over the radio and he says, "You make two. You make two egress point. You Nima."
I'm gonna ask him if he means Hungry Mother State, like here, like the state park. Is this
Yeah.
the point? Okay.
Emergency plan A.
Yes.
That's what they say.
That's what we're doing. Yes. Plan A. What do you know about Plan A?
Us tell everyone. Go plan A. No one listen. Us no plan A. Us from down south.
Well,
What do
since
you mean no one listened? Who did you tell?
Us tell doctors. Us tell lab ladies. Us tell lab men. No one listen.
Hmm.
You show up, 3 friends. No other friends. Your pack's small.
We lost a lot of our pack when all hell broke loose.
Ain't sorry hear that. And with that, he sheets his radio as now they're now kind of within speaking distance. As they've kind of all stalked forward, there's snarls and growls and things of that nature. A lot of signs of aggression towards you. Do any of you have any animal related skills?
I'm gonna check right meow. Negatory.
I do not.
Any wilderness survival in the bunch?
Mm,
That's also no, I believe.
yeah, that is a no.
I got running.
Hey, running. That might help.
The closest I have is
So
Streetwise,
streetwise might work,
but it's a very, very low skill. But I'll throw it.
or a very anybody with a streetwise or a very high MA.
High MA.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah,
That's
not me.
Not me.
Yeah, no, I'm 12.
All right,
I have a
throw the
60%
streetwise,
trust
throw the
intimidate.
streetwise and the high MA.
My MA is a 6.
That's a negative on that Streetwise.
That's a good roll on that MA.
Yep, that is a good roll on that MA. So, you are kind of sort of aware of what it looks like when someone is just posturing, right? Trying to be bigger than they really are, um, and you can kind of sense here that they're not really aggressive. more scared and trying to show that they're bigger than you by a lot.
Okay. Calm it down, guys. No one's here for trouble. We're all at the rally point. If only 3 people have decided to listen to you and come to the rally point, we're those 3 people. We're going to try to get. We're going to try to work through this together.
There's a rather short German Shepherd, maybe about 3.5 feet tall, and he's the bristliest one of the bunch, and he kind of steps forward and he says, "Kane, these humans, they don't know what they're talking about. That one lies. They didn't listen to us. They showed up because they were scared. That's what this is." And Kane looks at him. He says, "No, now, Dutch." And Dutch steps forward a little bit more, and he's like, "You've come here not because it's part of some listening to us nonsense, not because of some protocol. You came here because you ran away from your pack. That's why you're here. Otherwise, you'd be back there helping your people."
So
Instead, we are here.
I'll tell him flat out, like, look, the reason we're here is because of protocol. We left lots of people behind because it was protocol that we get here underneath any circumstances.
Hmm.
So you're right.
That sounds like human lies to me.
Well, take them how you will, but we're here now, and you're here. So I think we should make the best of this, work together, because it doesn't look like whatever's going on here is going to stop, and I don't think either one of us knows exactly what it is. And it's definitely not safe for either of us.
Kane takes a few steps towards you, and he looks at you and he says, "We shake hands. You know cause trouble."
I shake his hand.
And he reaches out a paw. He shakes your hand. He says, "See, humans good, humans friend. That's it. Us have small lodge, up road, bring truck, us ride."
Jump on.
They do. They clamber on board. Um, Kane is in the vehicle with you. The other ones are just kind of like hanging on the outside. Their heads kind of in the breeze, and tongues kind of lolling out, just dogging it up. The rest of them are running alongside, very very fast. And you head up the road, maybe about a mile into the state park, and you come to it's like a visitor center, right? Um, on the placard is Hungry Mother State Park, um, Marion, Virginia, established, what have you. And it gives you the story of Hungry Mother, of how there was uh, there was a Native American tribe who who had raided a village, and there was a woman who had escaped with her baby, and they found their way into this forest, and it was the cold winter, and how the mother had provided for the baby, and there were these settlers who had come through, and they found a baby, and the baby was emaciated, but clothed and decently fed, and the only things that it could say were hungry and mother. The search party goes out a little bit further, and they find the body of the mother, who had just recently passed away, and hence the name of the park, Hungry Mother. And but other than the morbid tale of how it got its name, the place is normally beautiful. However, at this point in time, being that it's dark and it's winter and there's no leaves on the trees and the snow is where it is, and you're surrounded by mutant dogs, and the city that you just left is completely in chaos. Um, it has something of a bit of an ominous quality to it. But you make your way inside the visitor center where Kane leads you, and he he shows you what they've done. They've taken all of the radio equipment, all of the satellite gear, and everything, and they have it set up. They kind of have like a little war room in there, which obviously it's taken them a little bit of time to get this together. Um, but there's no signs of any human personnel that are here. The bots that usually would run this place, because it's all run on automation and AI. The bots that usually run this place have been thoroughly dismantled. Probably what looks like by small caliber blaster fire and maybe some vibroblade activity, some short circuits, most likely delivered by powerful neural mace charges and things like that. But the bots are completely and totally shot. They're completely useless, and they just have like these broadcasts that the dog boys are just kind of like filtering through and trying to see what they can. Um, there's a few members who are inside who are dead. A few of the dog boys are just dead. Pretty grievous wounds, but it looks like they were carried here by the rest of the pack. And Kane says, "Make yourselves welcome."
I'm gonna take my helmet off and have a seat.
You sit down, and one of the other dogs, a little bulldog mix of some sort, comes up and says, with the slobbery jowls, "You want some soup?"
Be honest with you, I couldn't eat a bite right now. Everything's all just a bit much.
He slurps up a wad of drool. Yeah, bit much. Yeah, it sure is. Okay. Well, you want soup? You talk to Happy. That's me. I'm Happy.
All right, Happy. I'll remember
And
that.
he saunters off and he turns around. He's like, "You got fingernails?"
Yes.
"Got good fingernails?"
They're fingernails. I don't know if they're good or bad. They're just nails.
Happy points to his back. Those little stubby fingers. Happy got a itch.
I'll give him a light scratch with my power armor thing on. I'm like, I got the glove on, and takes a while to get out of this. I'll be gentle.
You start to scratch with the powered glove, and he's, "Oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's so nice. Thanks. These humans, good humans. This one good anyway. We keep this one." And Happy goes wandering off. And Kane comes and sits down in front of the three of you, and he says, "What you know?"
I'm gonna look at the other two. I'm like, nothing. To be honest, we were at a party, and then all hell broke loose. We got to the station. We heard the priority A, and we got here. We saw things on our way here, but as far as what this is, why it's happening, not even a clue.
Understand. You saw invaders too. You saw invaders in our minds. The invaders, they come from other places. Don't know where. Something happened. Lots of people get hurt. It wasn't good. Us knew about it for about a month. Us saw it coming. No one listened to us. Us here now. You here now. That good. Us feel need to go back to city. See if us find other people that need help. You interest?
I, I think we should get situated here, but yeah, we definitely should be going. We should, once we're staged here, try and make some attempts for a rescue. Contact HQ, see if we can get any standing orders as well.
That's smart. That real smart. You leader, huh?
As close as we got for one here for now.
that good. Us need leaders here. But you make self home here. Us take care of you here. In morning we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. And with that, Kane makes his way off, to deal with the rest of the dogs that are around. You're largely left to your own devices. Of course, there's the steady droning of different broadcasts. It's you see something, right? It looks like the St. Louis Arch uh, on one of the screens, and you see just this like that thing that you saw in the sky. It's like that, but it's just completely attached to the arch. And there's a little tag on the top right hand side of the screen that just says live feed, and it's like flashing, over and over. It looks like the timestamp is messed up, but it just keeps flashing live feed. And the things that are coming out of here, it's like you see that white glow in the center of the diamond, or in the center of the arch, and then it shifts over to some landscape, some alien world almost, and you see things, start to kind of parade out of it. Large things, small things. The only way to describe them is just demonic. You're not really prepared to see this, but the entirety of St. Louis around it is either destroyed, or it's in flames, or it's just a bad situation there. You hear reports coming in, from different locations. You hear one that pops up from Ann Arbor, Michigan. It says, this is, reporting from Ann Arbor. Local news from Detroit is, and then they're starting to talk about some mall in Detroit, and how it was like the people that were shopping there. There was something that came through with these large wings that just tore them all to pieces, and they're not sure if there were any survivors at the mall, and talking about how the NEMA response has just been impotent at this point. Um, and then you hear a something come over the radio waves from Lieutenant General Sawyer, which kind of piques all of your interest. And she's talking about the current situation in Atlanta, how there's just massive fires, and the entire city of Atlanta seems to have been lost, and they're putting up a fight there in Atlanta to try to rescue as many people as they can. They were unable to evacuate the city. So NEMA personnel, there's a base in Atlanta at this point, um, but they're unsure with the current situation, how long it's going to be able to stand, and how long it's going to be able to last. Um, it's it's not a very um, it's not a very good start to things. But with that, you all fall asleep, as fitfully as sleep will come. But you do manage to get a little bit of rest throughout the night. You hear things as you start to wake up. It's maybe around 6 o'clock in the morning on December 23rd. You have you hear things coming through, and they start to talk about how there have been enormous eruptions throughout the country, throughout the United States and Canada, Mexico. How Mexico City has been completely reduced to rubble in a series of very powerful earthquakes. The estimated death toll in Mexico City, which was a NEMA strong point, is approximately 10 million people. And everywhere you're hearing, it's just millions of people dead, millions of people, millions of people. Um, it's 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 devastating, to say the least. Everything that's going on is just chaos. and we'll call it there for the night.
Awesome.
That was
Or-
a good session.
Possum.
Yeah, right.